Hey everyone, and welcome back. It's been a while since we've done an engine teardown video, and I thought this one would be a perfect candidate. Reason one, when we took the oil filter apart, look at all that metal bits and pieces in that right there. The other, as the owner tells me, he's on his way to Sturgis. He hears a loud bang and the sound of marbles in a tin can shaking around inside there. So I think I know what we're going to find when we get in there. Stick around and you'll find out too. So this engine belongs to Mark out of Minnesota. He's got about 52,000 miles on it. It came out of a 2016 Street Glide. Of course, it is a 110. Now, about 4,000 miles, he's the original owner, about 4,000 miles into his ownership. He did have a little bit of performance work done, nothing on the bottom end, but there's some head porting that's been done and also a cam put in it and maybe a bumping compression ratio, but he wasn't real sure if they decked the heads or not. I can see it still has a composite style head gasket on it, so I'm not sure if it's still stock pistons. He did say that it is still a 110, so we're not sure exactly what we're going to find there once we get into it. But I have a feeling what we see on this filter is going to be bits from a crankshaft bearing. I believe we got a main bearing that has, or rod bearing that has went south on us, and I think that's what we're going to find. So let's get started. If we see anything in the rocker boxes, clean. I can smell a burnt smell. You can see the gold in here. Yeah. Okay, on the push rods, I'm not going to say the brand, but this particular brand of push rods. Mentioned this before, but to mention it again, if you notice here, you have all these witness marks around the edge of the push rod, right here. And you have several witness marks here. See, they're in the same spot. That's exactly where they land here at the base of the rocker box and top of the push rod tube. So he probably had a little bit of top end noise, tappy tappy, from the push rods hitting his rocker box. You can see the same thing here, right here, and you can also see it down here. These push rods are pretty fat, and if you notice right here, you have them again right there. So, a few more things about the build. He had complained about piston slap occasionally, you know, making noise when it's cold, eventually go away, little weird noises coming and going. But this was obviously a failure, quick failure. Okay, he did have some detonation going on. I can see quite a few specks around the plug here. Looks like it was running a little lean on the rear cylinder, maybe a little hotter, but not too bad. But the biggest thing that I notice are the electrodes. I don't know if you can see it on camera or not. Notice how far off center this electrode is. It's actually pointed in that direction there. That doesn't happen on its own, so it shouldn't look like that. Interesting. I was afraid of that. Ooh. Yeah, also forgot, this is a waterhead model. Alright, let's see what we have. Okay. We can see that he's had some porting. Yeah, he's definitely had some porting work done. Guides have been done. Got actually quite a large amount, thickness of carbon buildup in here. You know, having some carbon buildup isn't really unexpected, right? Because remember, this thing's got 50,000 miles on it, or 45 since the headwork and such was done. So we've got a pretty massive buildup there. We do have quite a thick carbon shelf. I'll show you guys here in a second. Pretty thick carbon shelf here around the top of the cylinder. You can see all that flaking in there, and that has a lot to do with it having a very large quench shelf, basically. You can get a lot of carbon buildup if you have more than, say, 30 to 40 thousandths of deck height. And this one, having this stock gasket, this is a 52 thousandths thick composite gasket with this piston. We can look at it when we take this head off, but more than likely that piston is going to be about 9 thousandths down in the hole because of the 7658 stock connecting rod. And if that's the case, that piston being 9 thousandths in the hole combined with a 52 thousandths thick head gasket, you've got 61 thousandths of piston to head clearance, and that's not healthy. A good target is 30 to 40 thousandths. Most builders should shoot for 40. I typically shoot for 30. Now, looking at the cylinders, oh yeah, there's quite a bit of glazing going on in there. We can see right here, I don't know if you guys can see that in there. And there's virtually no crosshatch remaining in there. We got to remember it's got 50,000 miles on it. And then we have it's glazed over quite a bit inside there. But not, I mean, that's, no, that's not good, but it's not terrible. It's not terrible either, again, considering the miles. It's just got some hot spots and some crazing in there. All right. Yeah, we basically have the exact same thing back here in the back. Again, it doesn't look terrible. This red color makes me wonder if he has been running octane booster. Maybe when Mark sees this video, he'll comment on that. But yeah, so may have been running octane booster at some point, and typical carbon buildup from having that much of a quench shelf. Yep, and we've got a piston that's down in the hole. Short rod, that's what I would expect to see. These are also stock pistons, so that makes sense. 9 thousandths down in the hole. So again, with a 52 thousandths thick stock head gasket, the 61 thousandths quench, It's a very inefficient engine. It's prone to detonation. That may explain the red color, maybe why he may have run a little bit of octane booster to try to avoid that. But it also allows for excess carbon buildup, and just an engine can run hotter. Several things can happen with that. Now, let's have a look inside the gear case. Oh, he was definitely sumping. We've got quite a bit of oil down there, which you'll see in a minute. Let's get all this off. Yep. Ain't that something? Ain't that something?
Something.
Guy thought that was funny. Ain't that something? It's just got metal all in it. I think it's a main bearing. Well, we haven't seen anything yet. Alright, let me show you guys something. This is what happens when you use way too much Loctite. Notice we got Loctite like all the way up through here, but so when you put too much Loctite on the screw and you run the screw in, all that Loctite comes out and then gets behind these surfaces and can affects everything. It can actually cram Loctite between these mating surfaces and everything else. And look at all, I mean, it's just crammed this whole entire hole, and you can see it on my hands. See all this? That's extra Loctite, and it's just absolutely unnecessary. See all that? All the grittiness, and it's all down inside the hole here. Oh, we have first signs of metal. Let's see. Not exactly sure what cam that is. All right, well, first off, let's take a look right here at the cam. So we have all this pitting around here, and there's a pretty nasty valley worn into the cam. The hardness layer is completely gone in this area, and we can also see all the way around here. There's a divot right there, which tells me the lifter was bouncing up and down on the cam, meaning that spring pressures probably were not correct for this particular cam. But the biggest issue is all of this pitting right here. Now, if you look at this one here, extreme overheat. See all the way around this cam lobe? Right there. I'll spin it around again. And a tremendous amount of wear. And then this cam right here is actually cracking. And I think I just pulled, I did. piece of metal there. All right. Wow. So lobe right there. Okay, so the cams were shot. Show you guys this neat little tool for removing rotor, of course, from gyms. All right, it's nice to install with it too, because you can put the rotor on there and walk it in there real easy, line it up. But ooh, splines are boogered up pretty good. There we go. Great tool, huh? Oh, there it is. All right, this is another, I want you guys to take a look at this. But now, if I go right past it, it can feel fairly smooth, like this. And if you turn it just enough, you'll find a spot right there where the bearings just so happen to lock up. You notice the crank is spinning as well. So we definitely have a crank bearing issue in here. There we go. But what we do have, we go back and we look at the tappets. What we do have are rollers. There we go. Rollers with incredible, let's see. Yep, there it is. See the roller right here, the roller must have locked up on him. Let's look real closely. Right there, there's a flat spot. And then we bring it around, see it raise up, and then it comes back down. All right, so this, yep, and there it is right there. It just locked up. And now it's freed again. And there it is, locks up again, right there. Yep, that's right where the flat spot is. So this tappet locked up and was taking out the cam. This one was doing the same thing. Let's take a close look at the roller. Look right here. See it rise there? We come around, and then there's that flat spot right there. That explains the cam. This was the good lobe, and that bearing feels rough, but not as bad as the other two. So if we compare that to cam plate's mushroomed out quite a bit, but this is the original equipment cam plate. I wouldn't be surprised to see that with one of that kind of mileage on it. But the cams are destroyed. You can see there. And yeah, right there, right there. Now this a set of 585 cams but the cam had nothing to really that I can see to do with this, except for on the heads. I haven't checked the spring rates, obviously, on those springs. A 585 cam does take a pretty decent amount of seat pressure to keep a roller lifter down. It could be that the valve springs are weak or too weak for a 585. If that allowed the tappets to basically start sliding rather than rolling onto the cam. That would also explain a couple of the divots on the cam lobe where it comes over the lobe and bounces a little bit. It can put divots in there after a while. That explains that. So all of this metal must have been from this rod bearing in here starting to go. That in combination with the tappets. Now before you leave, I'm going to give you a quick update on the shovel head. I have several days, the off days, late nights anyway, I've been working on the shovel head, and we've got a video coming, but I'm going to show you where we're at. And here we go. So what we're going to do in the upcoming video, then unfortunately the brazing did not work. So I had to start over with this rotated rear cylinder that became the front. I had to start over with it. So in the upcoming video, I'm going to show you how I took that rear cylinder, rotated it, the changes I needed to make, bored and honed the cylinder. This was a nightmare getting this rocker box set up. I had to do quite a bit of machining to the rocker shafts and also to the clearance of the rocker box. And anyway, and you'll notice this push rod tube. It's quite a story on that one. So the front one is done. The rear one will be easy. It's basically just putting together like you would normally, but I'm still going to go through and show you how to set up the rocker boxes and stuff like that, and then we'll complete that shovel head project. I think we got a couple more videos to do, but of course there's the entire build series on the bike, the curved bike. So there is going to be a lot of upcoming videos for that. And then we've got some more Tool Tech Tuesday videos coming from Jim's, of course. And guys, I appreciate all of you very much, your support. Members, thank you. All the members that support this channel every single month. And guys, again, I can't thank you enough for all your kind words, your comments. I do read every one. I wish I had more time to answer all of them, but with the enormous amount of customer work we have and just making the videos we do, just sometimes there just ain't enough time. So anyway, but guys, thank you so much for your support, your encouragement, and we'll catch you on the next one. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. Have a good one.